Ready when you are, and we're back. What if that was just the intro? Ready when you are, and we're back. This week we sip on some beers for the summer. This is episode 84 of the Malting Hour.
What's the haps on the hops? Got yeast, that's bees. This the Molten Hour where we talk about our drink and tell you what we think every other week. And if we get drunk, well, we might slur our speech. Got the gift of gab, the friends you wish you had. Join us for a drink, join us for a laugh. Time is never wasted, where you getting wasted. The Molten Hour here, people take your places. People take your places. People take your home.
Welcome to the Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with
Brandon Winninger.
And it's that time of year, everybody. Well, almost. It's like 2 weeks away. But let's get a jump start on it. It's summer beer time.
We're past Memorial Day. Most people consider this summer. So
I do too.
Yeah.
Once Memorial Day comes and goes, it's summertime for me.
Yep.
This isn't, I mean, granted in Chicago, you never know really what fucking season it's going to be.
I just know after Memorial Day, I got to start working on my winter bod. So it's like,
yeah, exactly. Good call. Got to start packing it on and make sure that we're nice and warm. Yeah, I mean, yesterday, on Saturday, it was like fall outside. Man, it was cloudy and 60 degrees and some light rain. At some point, it kind of got up a little bit and was sort of warm. But yeah, it felt more like fall yesterday. Yesterday, I was drinking German beers. I should have been drinking, barrel-aged stouts and porters and whatnot.
Yeah. And before we get too deep into this, there's something I do want to say. We've never done this before, but I do want to dedicate this episode to a friend, John Mott, who died on June 8th, 2020. I'm wearing his hat.
Right on.
That he left at my house. And to kick off the episode, doing a shot of Blanton's for John.
Oh, man. Nice. I wish I would have known. I would have done a shot with you. But, yeah, cheers to John, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call.
I was going to tell you, but then I was like, you know what? Make it a surprise.
I like it. No, cheers to John. Good call.
Yeah, so June 8th, they had a memorial for him today that I could not be at for various reasons. But, I did want to kind of celebrate him in some way. So.
Yeah, man. Good call. Good thinking on you. Good on you for that. But yeah, getting into what we're doing. We're doing summer beers. We decided to grab some random beers we thought are good for summer, as we normally
Very
do.
random.
Yeah, it's. I think it would have been nice if we could all have met up for this. And granted, it's just me and you this time, because I think there's some fun beers that everybody else would have enjoyed. Sorry, guys. We'll have you back on when we feel like calling you up. Dan and Clark, we know you're busy. So hey man, let's get into this. I already cracked open the first beer. I haven't taken a sip yet. I did catch a strong whiff of it though. I'm pretty excited about it. I didn't know this beer was coming out like this. It is Lake Effect School of Brett, and normally it is what it's been in the past are 4-packs of mixed cultures of the yeast, if I'm not mistaken, or they've done different things to the beers. I during the pandemic, I did a Facebook Live and got a chance with Clint, and I think I forgot who. I know someone from Omega Yeast was involved. I also think someone from Beer on the Wall.
That's what I was going to say, Beer on the Wall.
Yeah, was involved. And got a chance to try a bunch, all 4 from that year. I think that was 2020 or 2021. I don't remember. Anyways, but it's a very good. I mean, 2020 feels like a long time ago. Yeah. And also the longest year of everybody's life. But Brandon, why don't, because you always have better lighting than I do, why don't you read what this beer is and what it's all about?
Yeah, so we are drinking School of Brett. It's a wine barrel-aged Brett Saison, and this was a collaboration between Lake Effect and their friendly neighborhood yeast provider, Omega Yeast, which provides yeast for a lot of breweries. And home brewers, too.
Home brewers, yeah.
So the description on this is aged 16 months in Cabernet barrels with Brettanomyces. This ale has a soft tartness and notes of grape and peach with a mild Brett funk and barrel tannin. This beer is an ongoing collaboration with our neighbors at Omega Yeast, as we have used most of their wild yeast strains in this series.
Have you taken a whiff or a taste of it yet?
Whiff, yes.
It is. Kind of burned my nostrils.
But in a good way.
Yeah.
See.
It is.
It's got that funky burn.
You know, if you're a home brewer and you make a beer and you're not trying to get funky and you open up, your fermenter and you smell this, you're going to say, is this infected? But this is a purposeful thing. I mean, Brettanomyces is used in many styles of
It's
sour
legitimately like an infection that they put into beer. Mm-hmm. Did you take your first sip?
I did. I've taken 3 sips now.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I took my first sip, too.
Well, real quick, what's the ABV on this, just out of curiosity?
Does the can say 6.5?
That is good, because I could drink the shit out of this beer. All the descriptors that you read, I got. And the one I don't think I would get unless you told me was the peach. That would have been one I don't think I would put my finger on right away.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot more grape, but it's got that lingering peach essence, which is very pleasant. I like it a lot.
Yeah, this is just like the other school of Bretts that I've had. This one is very nice. It's not there's not an offensive tartness to it.
No, not at all.
There's a little breadiness to it. The grape, like I definitely get the wine barrel. There are some barrel tannins. It's light, fruity. It is not something that's going to give me heartburn. I get worried sometimes when I have sour or funky or tart beers that it is going to burn my insides after I'm done drinking it. This is not going to do it. This is fucking delicious.
I will say it smells a lot funkier than it actually is, if you know what I mean. Like, you're expecting it to have a lot more kick of the tartness, but I feel like that barrel mellows it out so much.
Yeah, this is sorry, I was finishing a sip there.
Sorry,
I mean, this
chugging.
This is a good beer for a wine drinker. Like or someone who
I can see that.
It's almost like a spritzer type deal, and I don't mean that as an insulting way. This is just a very nice, refreshing.
But even it's funny because you say like spritzer, but I'm like 6.5% spritzer. Like, we there's a collaboration of beers that we kind of put together, just randomly picked up. And 6.5 is pretty big. I think the lowest one that I don't know if we end up drinking it or not, but like
we're going to. That was when I was doing the heads or tails. That was heads.
Yeah. There's another one that's 2.5%. So it's
three. Oh yeah, that's right. The other one's 2.5. Oh shit, yeah. I was sorry. I was thinking about a different beer that I do want to get to. We have these are all. I mean, this might be the highest ABV beer of the bunch tonight, depending on what we drink. Because the other one, the one I was thinking of, is 3.8%. So I mean that's good. That's good though for summertime beers. You don't want to if you're gonna drink a bunch of beers hanging out. No matter what you're doing, you're out in the sun. Remember to stay hydrated though, kids. Come on, drink water in between your beers. It's good to have the low ABV because you're not getting shit faced in the middle of the day. I'm all for day drinking. You got to do it moderately, and it's easier to do when you got low ABV beers.
That is true.
I mean, and people know listening to the show that we like high ABV beers. I mean, we really do. Like, we're dead. Eventually, we'll finish our Goose Island series of the Build Your Own Media Kit.
Hopefully,
we'll
by the time the next one's released.
Yeah. I'm hoping by the end of this month we can have. By the end of June, the third part is complete, and we're done with that. Which made me think I forgot to grab another beer from you today, the barrel aged barley wine.
Damn it!
That's all right. Hey, it's just keeping it nice and safe for me to not crack into randomly on a night like a Friday night or Saturday night where it's like, I guess I'll crack into this.
You can bring it up to New Glarus.
Hey man, I've got a growler I can bring up to New Glarus. I was just thinking about that from Devil Clutch. I was like, it'd only be a week, so it'd still be good if it's not opened. So anyway, these types of beers, especially this, this is a great beer for the summer. So even if you want to do, say it's getting later in the day, maybe in the evening, you're sitting around the fire. Okay, imagine this: you're sitting around the fire. And you've had all these low ABV beers, maybe a shandy or something else, and you're like, I want to treat myself to something nice, like a barrel-aged beer, but I don't want this big, sweet stout. This is the way you end the evening.
Yeah, this is like the epitome of a barrel-aged beer that does not come off as a barrel-aged beer. And I guess...
it does, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and I guess it's good to preface that most people expect barrel-aged beers to be stouts that are, 12% or 14%, whatever. But, like, dude, props to Clint, man. Like,
yeah,
the wine barrel stuff that he's done... He's knocked it out of the park, man. Like, he's knocked it out of the park, and I'm super, super happy that he's so close and we can just randomly go and just pick up stuff and, like, enjoy this.
Lake Effect is really, and they're friends of the show. Clint is a friend of ours. I call him a friend. We're friends on Facebook, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? But no, I mean, Lake Effect is a brewery that is still very much under the radar for a lot of people, and I don't know why, because his beers are consistent and all the special, like his barrel age program especially, is very tasty. Like the barrel age stouts that he does are phenomenal. I mean, he's got a barrel club that you can sign up for, that we've talked about doing at some point as a show, not a show, but as the actual podcast. Maybe we all go in on it. But yeah, his barrel aging is good. His beers are fantastic. And I'm really excited for when the tap room opens up to be able to go there and get, maybe not these on tap, but I'm sure stuff like this, he'll be able to do some one-offs like that to put on tap and have special releases. So that's really exciting. This is a great beer.
Yeah. And you made a good point about like how he's not as recognized. And I don't know if Clint would agree with this, but I feel like at least a small part of it is he doesn't have a tap room. And I
think Clint would agree with that.
Yeah. But I feel like that will change when the tap room opens. And if the quality stays the same, which, knowing Clint, I feel like he's, strict enough to make sure that, anything that he brings over from the original location to the new location is going to kind of meet the same standards. He may grow. I think the equipment's going to grow. He'll get some bigger stuff. But I feel like he's very into the numbers and very into the science and very into making sure that things turn out the way he wants them to. That like he wouldn't release something that he didn't like. So
yeah, and he's had to do that before.
Yeah.
He's had to hold off on things and postpone releases because the beer didn't meet his expectations or standards. And you're right, because he does have a scientific mind. I mean, he in a previous life he was an architect. So math and science right there. But yeah, this is a great beer, and not to take away from Omega Yeast, obviously. I mean, with them being collaborators, Omega Yeast is fantastic. If you guys are home brewing, there's a good chance that you've used Omega Yeast, and if you are in Chicago, there's a good chance you've had beer that was used that was fermented with Omega Yeast. So,
totally.
Super cool to have both of those places so close to us.
Yeah, we need to talk to some guys from Omega Yeast. Maybe we can ask Clint and be like, hey. Who can we talk to?
Maybe
Let's
next year.
yeast.
Maybe next year we can, talk to him about, because they release this each year. And this is, like I said, this is a different way of him releasing the School of Brett. I'll have to go back, but I know each year it used to be a 4-pack that would have, I don't know if it was different strains or they did different things to the actual beer. And it was awesome, like mixed 4-pack that I think at the time, maybe it was like anywhere between $15 or $20 for the 4-pack.
Okay.
And with that's a lot of work and a lot of like finger crossing to go into certain beers. But with Omega Yeast, I mean, it's like you know what you're getting. It's not it's a good yeast strain, so you don't have to worry about your beer going to shit.
Speaking of Omega, what was that one strain one? It was a Cosmic Punch.
Yes.
Still
got to brew with that.
Yeah.
I haven't brewed since January.
Well, neither have I.
It sucks, man. I hate it.
Yeah, dude. Like I get these random days off, and I'm just like, oh, I want to brew.
This Friday you're off before we go to New Glarus. Just brew before we go.
Yeah. What I do want to brew, I want to do that mango IPA again, and I want to use that Cosmic Punch as the yeast. I want to see what that does.
Dude. That sounds like a great idea. Speaking of brewing, our old friend Jackie, home brewer who did, what was the name of her Pilsner? Poppin' Pills,
yep.
Right? No? Is that,
Poppin'
Pills.
I think so.
I recently got to try her Hazy IPA, And she gave me some of it because I bought some coffee from her. She and her partner have their own coffee roasting, Pride Roasters. I think so. I'm gonna verify that real quick. It's very good coffee, by the way. But she and I were talking, like, her beers. I told her, I'm like, I need you to teach me how to brew better, because her beers are just fantastic. And like this IPA, Pride Coffee Roasters, there we go. It's on Etsy if you guys want to find it. Pride Coffee Roasters on Etsy. If you're in Chicago, I don't know if they're shipping anywhere. I don't have that information, but the coffee's fantastic. Honestly, because she's just like your equipment, hers is very dialed in as well. And I'm still very, you guys are like bakers when it comes to brewing, that you are tuned in. I'm like a cook where you can't really be like a cook when you're fucking brewing, where you can just add stuff to fix it if you fuck something up. My beers just aren't all that great these days. So one of the things that I talked about with her was doing that. Oh, geez, I punched my TV. I'm so excited about this. One of the things that I was talking to her about was, the double or the hazy that she did. I said it drank more like a double IPA, but there was still some juiciness to it. But it was still like a fantastic beer. And we were talking about maybe brewing that together. Another thing was that I wanted to use her coffee for a home brew. So I wanted to do maybe like a coffee IPA or coffee blonde, something not, I don't want to do a coffee stout. You and I have, we haven't done Into the Void for a bit now. We keep talking about it, but we still want to do a coffee version of that. So I feel like doing something different, like a coffee blonde or a coffee pale ale or coffee IPA would be fun to do with those roasted beans. So, there's their little rant on homebrewing.
Yeah,
thanks for listening, everybody.
Oh man, I had a great point that I was gonna cut in with, and I was like, all right, Tony's still talking,
still going. I'm still going. It's my rant that's I'm not actually ranting. Did you think of it
yet? But again, kind of summing up this beer. Super glad that I went and picked it up.
Thanks for grabbing it. I know that I messaged you and I said we should get this, and then you did it. I feel like sometimes that's what it leads into. So I'm sorry if
no, it's okay.
Pushing you.
I mean, I was
grab beer for us.
I was going out anyways, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go visit Clint. And it was funny. I kind of pulled into the lot back there, and sorry, Clint. He had a beer in his hand, and he was sitting over a dumpster in the back, and I was like, the fuck's going on here? I thought he was like pouring beer out, and he was like,
sounds like a bad day, Clint.
But then he was telling me, like, so, dude, like, apparently kids are going up at the metro station and just throwing rocks at the building.
What the fuck?
Breaking the windows in the building and like all this stuff, and like the Metro Police won't do anything about it. And I was like, what the hell? He's like, yeah, it kind of sucks. And they've got like this big like storage container in the back where back in the early days, like, if it used to be a chicken coop.
Oh, yeah.
But now it's like this big thing. And he's like, yeah, it keeps getting defaced and like rocks are thrown at it. And like, he said like there was like 150 rocks thrown today. And I was like, what the hell? I'm like, how
Jesus.
do you? But then like, if you got people coming into your business and rocks are flying over.
Yeah,
because,
that's not cool.
Crazy. So I'm sure he's chomping.
Knock it off, kids. Quit throwing fucking rocks at Lake Effect.
Well, and they're just throwing it at the building in general.
Yeah.
But I
know they're not.
I'm sure he's chomping at the bit now for that. God, I hope that project moves along so he can move along.
I'm hoping this year. He hasn't had any updates lately. We'll have to check in with him and see what's going on, because we definitely want to.
We got to do an update episode.
Yeah, we could do that
before we do our first episode at the location.
Yeah, so many locations to go to, but that's one I really looking forward to go to.
That's a neighborhood one. We have to.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know what? And 6.5%. This beer is smooth. I was originally poured. Was that the whole can?
Mm-hmm.
Brandon just showed me his empty glass. Brandon, I originally started with just pouring a little bit. This is what I have left. I mean, this is not a big glass. I'm about to fucking kill this one. Let's take a quick instrumental interlude into the next beer, huh? One quick break. Here we go. All right, so the next beer for summer, another summertime beer, is one that's it's still local, right? I don't know if it's actually brewed here. It might be brewed here. Might be brewed in California because we're speaking of Lagunitas. Lagunitas is how they say you should be pronouncing that. Brandon is inspecting the can to find out if it says where it was actually brewed here in Chicago or in California.
Well, so my assumption is that most Lagunitas that we get is brewed in Chicago because that was the reason they opened the Chicago location. So they can
that makes sense.
service the Midwest and to the East Coast. But I think they have an East Coast spot too. So.
Well, we're going to say this was brewed here in Chicago, so we're keeping it local. We've got Lagunitas Hazy Wonder. Is that the name of it, right?
Yep.
Hazy Wonder. So I thought I had this before. I'm almost positive I did, but I guess I didn't. I mean, I at least didn't check it in, which, that's a rare thing for me, not to check in a beer. I check in beers that I've drank 90 times. Brandon, I think there's a little story on that can. I need you to read it for me if you can.
Oh, there is. When a brilliant idea strikes, why do they say a light bulb goes off and not on? The difference between a spark of genius and a flash in the pan really just comes down to think or whim. But how can something so hazy be so bright? Life is uncertain. Don't sip. Hazy Wonder embroiders our endless fascination with hop-forward brewing, expressed in a bright and unfiltered light. Let us know what you think. 707-764-4495. We called that number before.
We have.
And they called us back.
They did. We never really followed up.
It was right before the pandemic is what it was.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We should probably reach back out.
Because we were like, hey, you know what? The person that called us and the people that we followed up with, I looked them up. They don't work for Lagunitas anymore. So we might have to call again. Be like, hey, you were promised.
Hey, we have this old voicemail. We need you guys to follow up on this. So it's funny, the description on Untapped is different. I'm going to read that. The fascinating ferment is full of fabulous Sabro, Citra, and Cashmere hops for a smooth tropical fruitiness. A slightly bitter, densely hazy phenomenon that's strangely light in mouthfeel, keeping you satisfied and still coming back for more. All right. Let's see how it is.
It's super light. Super light.
It smells really good. It is tropical.
Yeah.
It's again, we're coming from Chicago where we're really fucking spoiled when it comes to hazy IPAs. We've talked about this before. Like the standard is high for what we can get. We end up with some really juicy, really dank, really tropical, really nice, really juicy. Some thick, some sweet, some real all thick. Around. Okay. Yeah, you have to excuse me, everybody. This is it's really very nice. It's very nice. It smells very tropical. It kind of smells like it smells like a mango or what's another tropical fruit that would be mixed with orange juice.
Papaya?
Type of deal. Yes, papaya. I don't know what papaya fucking smells like.
Neither do I. Just guessing. But I do agree with you. It's got that tropical essence. But my first thought was like, dude, it drinks super light. Like it.
Yeah, it's very tasty. And we were wrong. This is another 6% beer, so it just goes down from the School of Brett, which is good.
Yeah, it's not. What I would say, like the mouthfeel on it is super light too. So it just drinks.
It is very pillowy, like silky, smooth,
and that makes it dangerous. I think because it's super tasty and like
I can plowing through this.
Yeah, I can drink it super easily. And I'm getting a lot of juiciness out of it. Like even the flavors, though it's not thick in the mouth, it's bringing the juice.
It is like it reminds me a lot of orange juice in the sense of the aftertaste. I'm getting like strong citrus, orange, or like lemon pith almost bitterness, and it's not super bitter. It's 25 IBUs, so this even like comes close to being a pale ale type deal for me. This is an easy drinker, man. This is 6% shit.
I can agree with that. The being on the border of a pale ale. Yeah. And we've had a lot of those. So the hops on this one are Sabro, Citra, Cashmere, and Comet.
Yes. Is that the same ones I read on Untapped? I know.
I think so.
Comet was the only one not mentioned on their Untapped, but that's good. I like Comet hops.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I've had a lot of stuff with Comet, but I like it. Can's cool too. I like the gold little tab on the top.
I think this might be a beer that they sell in the Tall Boys too, if I'm not mistaken. I think I've seen this one.
I think so, because I think this was like when I was looking.
You're getting your tropical beer hugs.
Yeah, when I was doing that, I think this was one of the Tall Boys that they had.
Yeah, this one's a little less dangerous. As Goose Island's tropical beer hugs is 9.9%.
Ooh, doggy.
And it doesn't drink like a 9, almost a 10%.
But then they also had the Lagunitas, what is it, the Maximus or whatever. That's what I bought too. It was like 2 for $5. I was like, all right, let's go.
Man, Maximus is so good. Yeah. That's a great IPA, West Coast. This is a good representation of what a easy drinking hazy IPA could be. It's definitely just like when we were talking about beer hugs. This is one that has to be shelf stable. So I feel like it's even harder for these bigger guys to try and make something. I mean, Sierra Nevada right now, their Little Hazy series, Big Hazy, Little Hazy, whatever Hazy, that they've got like 10 of them. Mm-hmm. That is now their highest selling like brand as last year or this year. It's now become their highest selling, their biggest selling, their most popular selling brand for them right now. Okay. So that says a lot for the shift in what people like drinking, and the fact that these bigger guys are still still craft beer. I mean, Sierra Nevada, Lagunitas, Heineken, but still the bigger guys are still making beers that are good and get me what I want. If I had to buy it, like buying a 6-pack, I'm sure the 6-pack was like $10 to $12. To get a 6-pack of this, easy drinking, it's delicious. I like it. Sure. Am I gonna take it over some of the local stuff I can get? Probably not. Even just Son of Juice from Maplewood, or Les Jus from Alarmist, or the 9,210 hazies from Hop Butcher. I'm not going. They don't really have that much. I'm not going to take this over those. If those options are available and I want to get those, that's what I'm going to do. But those beers, except for Son of Juice, I think those are leaning more on the maybe 7%. I don't know where Les Jus is, but that's homegrown. That's right here, and that's that is mass produced. So they like mass produced. I don't know how far out they go, but it is like on shelves everywhere in Chicago that I go. Like it's not hard to get Alarmist at a store or at Benny's. So it will be on the shelf. So it's they also have to worry about shelf stability, but it sells enough where clearly they're able to still keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, agreed.
This is delicious. This is really good, though.
Going down really quick.
Yeah, another one. Ooh,
yeah.
This is just like summertime. When you're sitting around, and that's what you're doing.
Guzzling down beers.
Yeah, hanging out with Clark and Dan and just sitting in the yard around the fire. And everybody's got one beer that just tastes good for sitting around in the yard. This is one of them.
All right.
I feel like that would be... I mean, that is our catchphrase. It's a good beer to sit in the backyard and drink on a summer day. I mean, it is. This is one of them. This is it. That's our seal of approval. Oh, if we had a tagline for this show, that's what it would be.
Look at my glass. MKE, RIP.
Oh, yeah. Look at this. Look at my glass. Goose Island, just half full.
Nice. Yeah, the whole Milwaukee Brewing Company closing. That's sad.
Yeah, that is insane. That is
the best beer tour I've ever been on.
Oh, absolutely best beer tour. And really good beer. And they have a fantastic pumpkin porter.
Yes.
That was so good that I bought a case of it when I was there. in February.
Yeah,
Was it February? It was. It was on my birthday.
was, yeah.
I bought it, and they had it sitting around, and I said, fuck yeah, let's get it. And it was so good, and I drank it for weeks because, that was in the heyday of when, anything pumpkin. I mean, we still do it, but that was like more hardcore. I need to get every pumpkin beer available type deal.
All the pumpkins.
All right. So, Brandon, I didn't do this with the first one. For the School of Brett, if you had to rate it on Untapped, 1 out of 5, what would you give that School of Brett, baby?
I'm going 4.25.
Nice. I like that. I think that's a fair score.
Yeah. I might go a little higher, but around 4.25. Like, I was pleasantly surprised. Not that I didn't think it was going to be worse or anything like that, but I was pleasantly surprised about how much I enjoyed it and how much barrel I got and how much of the fruit came through. The grape and the peach that they said that you're going to get. Like, I got that, and it was very consistent with what I would expect. And it was super easy drinking. It was not super sour. It wasn't overly tart. It was super well balanced, and I'm glad I bought it. I'm glad I got another can too.
Yeah, there's a part of me that doesn't want to share it with Dan and Clark, but I am going to, and I think I'm going to go with, I agree with you, 4.2, 4.3, that's where I would go with that. Very good. I mean, it's really close to being 4.5 for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Just because that wine, the wine, 4.5, that's what I'm giving it. Boom, done, said it.
Yep, good.
I think it's the wine barrel that kind of pushes that to that for me. I don't know if there's anything else. It'd be hard to say what would make it a solid 5, but 4.5 for me is where I'm at with that beer. Especially for this episode, for a summer beer episode. I think that's where I would go with that.
Because, this is easily drinkable in any type of summer night. Stormy.
Stormy,
cool.
Clear, thick.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
You got a thick summer night.
Oh, God. Those are the worst.
Oh, I hate those nights.
Okay. Same deal. Lagunitas Hazy Wonder. What are you going to give this one, baby?
I just did it on Untapped.
I didn't see it. I have my phone in front of me anymore.
Dang, dude. What did I do? I gave it 3.75.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you on that. 3.75. Only because, again, we're spoiled here in Chicago to have hazy beers. So, it's not a beer that I'm necessarily going to go seek out when I want a hazy IPA.
But it's not one I would turn down.
Absolutely, yeah. Is it something that hey, I'm going to bring some beer to please the masses, or have something that I want my guests to enjoy, where I'm not spending $50 on 4-packs like I did yesterday? This would be one that I would do, man. Yeah, shout out to myself.
And being myself, who has not, I've never been the hugest fan of hazies, but this was if I was someone getting into hazies, that's a good intro.
It's a good start. It's a good change up.
It's a very mellow hazy.
I think a lot of regular beer drinkers could drink this and appreciate it.
Yeah, and I do appreciate hazies. I do enjoy a good hazy. Like we've said before, I don't seek them out. But this one, middle of the road, very good. And many people could enjoy it, I would say. So
honestly, this would be a good the orange. Like I was talking about the orange citrusness, actual orange juice, fruit orange. This could be a good brunch beer.
Yeah, agreed.
Beer during brunch. This is it's perfect for that. It's a slightly mimosa type deal here going on. All right, well that's 2 for the summer so far. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back with either 1 or 2 more beers, depending on how Brandon and I feel after said break.
Sweet. And we're back.
Oh man, I did like my "and we're back."
You can just leave that in.
No, man, but that
we're back.
And here we are. We're back. We're back. We did take a little bit of a break, a little bathroom break. I was tapping on the bar. Hey, you know what? There are a ton of styles out there that are good for summer, but nothing says summer quite like the shandy. You know, like that is the ultimate German summer beer. It is
or
a wheat beer,
Raddler, as they call it.
Sorry. Raddler. Yes. Is there a difference between a Raddler and a shandy?
I think it's the same thing. I mean, it has to be because they're literally like it's just fruit and beer.
You guys, if we're wrong, nobody said we're fucking experts. We're just guys who like drinking beer and talking about it. Sorry, this one. Yeah, when a wheat beer mixed with lemonade or some type of fruit juice. I mean, that's yeah. They're the same. It's delicious. I mean, that really is summer, and normally it's a low alcohol beer. And Brandon, what did you secure for us for this?
I got us the Paulaner.
Isn't it Paulaner?
Paulaner. Grapefruit Raddler. I scored this at Jules.
That's our local grocery store if you're not in Chicago.
Yeah, so I got this at Jewel. If you're not from Chicago, other places it's called Albertsons.
Yes.
But anyway,
probably go to your local Kroger's and get it.
Yeah, I think most normal places would carry this. But they had it. Dude, it was what blew my. So like I've made a habit of when I go to the grocery store, going over by the clearance section. Last week they had.
You got to go to the clearance section, everybody. It really is. Sometimes you get some fun shit.
They had Great Lakes Edmund Fitzgerald Porter.
What?
Half off. So I bought a 6-pack of that.
Good.
But it was dated like September of this year. So I'm like, okay, good. And this Paulaner was dated November of this year. So I was like, why would I not grab a grapefruit Raddler that is perfect for the summer?
And it is nice and bright pink. It's looking very pretty in my glass right now.
You got to wonder, who's in charge?
I don't know. You know, there was one time where Old Rasputin's, what is that? North Coast? Old Rasputin?
Yep.
There was a clearance at my Jewel, and it had been sitting there for a year. So that made sense, but they were half off. Thing is, it's an Imperial Stout, and I bought like 2 or 3 4-packs of that. Did we drink some of those? Did I drink any of those with you, or did I drink those with Mike? So. I don't know who, but they tasted fantastic. They tasted fine. I mean, a beer like that. I mean, Old Rasputin. That's like 8 to 10% probably in alcohol. I mean, it was fantastic. It was fine. So whatever. Now, when a beer is old and dying because nobody's buying it and they're not replenishing it anyway, when that's half off, stay away. Don't drink that shit. It's gonna be gross. But this smells like grapefruit juice and drinks like delicious grapefruit juice with some carbonation in it.
Agreed. I will say the clearance rack, before I bought the delicious Edmund Fitzgerald, they had some Buckle Down IPA that expired in November of last year. I was almost tempted to get it, but I was like, it's $6. It's not much more than the regular price for a 6-pack.
If it was $3, that's another story. Because then you can be like, "Yeah, I'll try it." And if it's not good, Yep. You know, the time that I worked for Lake Effect, there's a funny side story about old beer. One of the things I had to do when I was delivering beer in the mean white van when I was listening to podcasts and stuff, it was a great job. I loved that job. I wish I could have done it full time. I had to go pick up old beer that had been sitting on the shelf, and sometimes it was IPAs or the blonde ale. And I told Clint, "What are you gonna do with these?" Like, throw it away. And I was like, "What if I took some?" And he's like, "If you want, man, but they're not gonna be good." So the Bitch and Blonde, the blonde ale that they do is, which I think they use Belgian yeast for it. It's like a Belgian blonde. It was still pretty darn good, a little foamy, but the IPA, Falconer's Flight, which is one of my all-time favorite local IPAs, which I was just thinking recently, I haven't seen the Falconer's Flight IPA from Lake Effect recently, and I gotta hit up Clint about that because I know they switched up the house before, and it was really. That's one of my favorite local IPAs, right next to Ailman's IPA. But that was definitely, it was old and it was not good, and I did not drink it. I did offer it to friends, and all my friends who came by drank it. I was like, it's old. And they're like, we don't care. No, free beer is delicious
free
beer. Yeah, exactly. Brandon, what do you think about this, man?
I mean, I enjoy it, man. I've had my share of Raddlers in the day, and this is I've never had this one, and I will say this is up there.
Stiegel Raddler is the most common Raddler that I've had.
And Stiegel, I got the first time I had a Stiegel Raddler was at Fishman's, and I think they had it on tap, and I was like, all right, I'll take a pour of it, whatever. And I had it, and I was like, holy crap, this is like refreshing, like summertime juice.
That's how my wife found out she liked Raddlers, was at Fishman's, because we went there and she wanted something that was low in alcohol that she would like, and I said, dude, a Raddler, that's right there, that's you. And she ended up drinking quite a bit of them. But yeah, this is like summer in a glass. Like, this is perfect. This is what's the ABV on this?
2.5.
Yeah, so it's more juice than beer.
Yeah. And it's perfect the way it is.
Yeah, it's so good.
I wouldn't want this any other way. Like, this is totally, juicy. I've had Raddlers that have the beer essence. There is no beer essence in here, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing.
Yeah.
But for a Raddler, this is perfect. And if this style, was emanated out of Germany in general, like, these cans were brewed in Germany. This is like imported from Germany, and this is delicious.
This reminds me of it's on the tip of my tongue, San Pellegrino. That's what this reminds me of. Which is San Pellegrino was blood oranges. Ugh, the best. But yeah, that's kind of what this reminds me of. But there's a little booze in this. And if you want to have fun, if you want to have some fun, kids. When I say kids, I mean anybody over 21. Because, I'm sure there's a lot of underage kids listening to our podcast. If you are, turn this off right now and never listen to this again. You could... Ooh, my voice... I just had kids and my voice cracked. You could... if you're starting your day with this is a good way to start your day. And you want to spice things up, it's a good time to have a shot of tequila. Have a shot of tequila. Wash it down with a Raddler if you want to get things going. It kind of defeats the purpose of easy drinking, but if you want to still stick to not drinking like heavy beers, like, this isn't heavy. It's not even like super sweet. Like, it is sweet, but it's not like cloyingly sweet.
Yeah, agreed. And it's not like fake grapefruit. It's like you're getting the juice. Yeah. That's why I think I like it. It's because
the juice.
Getting the juice. I think that's why I like it so much, is because it's so much of just like grapefruit juice, not like extract or anything like that. It's actually tastes like grapefruit juice.
Absolutely. We're doing a lot of voice clearing on this episode. You and I are both doing it. Is it because of it's the summer? As it's like we're drinking juicy things and sour things? I don't know. But you and I are both a lot. Sorry, everybody. You have to listen to that. Get over it. We don't edit that out.
Start hitting the mute button.
Every time? Yeah, here we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, man. Dude, this is good. This is really good. I like it. And especially, it's kind of a bonus for being on a clearance rack. Shit.
Yeah, man. You know what? If there was more, I would have bought more.
I was going to say, is there more? Do we know if there was more on the clearance rack? Because if there was,
I have a feeling if I go back, they may refill it. I don't know. If they do.
If they do, clear it out. I'll go in. I'll get me a 4-pack, and I'm on it. Oh, man.
Beers. Road beers.
You know what? Don't drink and drive. These are road beers.
Yeah.
Don't drink and drive. Yeah, man, this is delicious. I feel like this is this like encompasses what I would expect from like a summer beer, Yeah,
and it makes me happy that it's like it's a German beer. Like, it's not a local beer; it's a solid German beer.
Yeah.
And
I had my share of local German beers over the weekend, so this is nice to have just have an actual German beer. Yeah, delicious. I all right, so here we go. What are you gonna rate this one? 1 out of 5. You can still do you can do like 4.3, 4.2, 3.7. You can 3.79, stuff like that.
I'm going 4.7.
4.7?
Not 0.7, 4.7.
4.7?
Yes.
Wow. Now is that overall?
Insert the Owen Wilson. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Is that so? Is it 4.7 because of the style that we're drinking, or 4.7 beer drinkability in general of what you like?
Both, I think. Because
Right on. I appreciate that honesty.
because if somebody hands me a Raddler, this is what I would enjoy. I'm sure there's ones out there that'll get that higher mark. So I'm between 4.5 and 4.7, but I feel like I could get maybe something else that might be a little bit better, but I don't know. And if not, that's fine. 4.7, this can sit with me. I can drink this all the time.
Right on. I would say for me, style wise, and what we're in the aspect of this episode, I would go 4.2, 4.5 on it, because it really is. I mean, I don't think it's a beer that I'm naturally gonna seek out. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'm if I was going to that route where it's an everyday drinking beer of how I kind of rate beers, I would give it a 3. You know what I mean? And that's because I'm not always looking for a Raddler, so to speak. But for this category and what this episode is based around, you know what, man? Fuck it. I'm with you. 4.7. If that's what we're going, summertime beers, is a 4.7.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other delicious beers, but this is the epitome of summertime drinking, especially day drinking, out in the hot sun, hanging out in the backyard.
I could drink this stupid in the afternoon.
Yeah. Now the only thing is, I'm wondering how much sugar is in it from the grapefruit juice. So that might be something that'll set you back. So still want to pace yourself, but still, I mean, I could have this, move on to something else, and then come back around and have another one of these. It's a good end of the night beer too. If you want to keep drinking,
100%.
But you don't want to drink something crazy. You don't want to drink a 7% IPA. It's good to grab a Raddler. It's a good way to start the day and end the night.
Agreed.
That's right.
Agreed. Well, thanks, Paulaner.
Yeah, thanks,
Paulaner.
Brandon, what do you think? Do we do one more, or do we just wrap up summer 2022 beer drinking with this one? What do you think?
Well, total time is 57 minutes in, not including breaks.
True.
Or including breaks.
Including the breaks. So, I mean, we're probably about 50 minutes. It's almost an hour show. If we're going to drink something, I got one more in mind, and it's not what you think.
What is it?
Okay, so here we have the final beer of our summer beer collection, which doesn't mean these are the only beers we're going to drink in the summer. It's just some beers, random beers we thought would be good to drink for a summer episode, okay? So don't fucking judge us. We're not the end-all, be-all of everything, but we are the best at what we do, and that's this show. No one else can do this show but us. And if they fucking try, well,
how dare they?
Give us some money at least for the name. That would be great, because we put a lot of money into this show over the years.
Yes.
Oy. All right, here we go. So we're gonna end it on another local note. Brandon, what the are we drinking for our last summer beer?
We are drinking Revoultion's Cross of Gold.
Yes, we are. Oh man, this is such a good beer, and I'm so sad that it's not available just in 6-packs and cases like they used to do, but I think it makes sense for them. It probably wasn't selling as well as, all the hero beers and Fist City and Rev Pills, and then they do all the, I did say all the hero stuff. And now they've got their Freedom series, so they've gone away from selling this in the store, But, Brandon, you got a keg of this from the tap room.
I did. So just kind of reading the description from Cross of Gold. Cross of Gold is a straightforward, refreshing golden ale from the very first days of Revoultion. It began life in our chairman's...
Now that I brought it up, it's you. You'll notice it. Sorry.
It began life in our chairman's basement pilot brew system, won gold at the Great American Beer Festival, and consistently remains one of the most popular pours at our Logan Square brew pub. The can prominently features the iconic L train, the pulsing heartbeat of Chicago that connects the heart of the city to the north, south, and west sides. There is no east side. This crowd-pleasing favorite is part of the City Series, Classic Styles for any session, proudly brewed only in Chicago.
Just like all their other beers, still proudly brewed here in Chicago. And as you know, we're big Revoultion fans.
And the style is called Chicago Golden Ale. And
it is fucking delicious. I mean, it's just you want to introduce someone to craft beer? Here you go. Try this beer. Oh, it tastes like fucking beer. Yeah, it's because it's beer.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have anybody in my life who's like, oh, this is just... Man, I really make myself laugh on this show. Thanks to everybody who might laugh along. And if you don't, it hurts my feelings. Please laugh along with me. This is one of my favorite beers from them. And I rediscovered it. I was sad when I saw it go away. And then I rediscovered it when I went to a wedding at Revoultion, the brew pub. And they had it on tap. And I had it. And I was like, yes, this is great. And then they had it at the tap room over there in Kedzie. And Brandon, you got this for your son's birthday party. And that was super exciting. You were torn between this and what else? What was the other one?
Fist City.
Which is also, I mean, if you go back to the records of our Pale Ale episode, Fist City, I believe that was a part of our decades of Pale Ales.
Yeah, and I had never had Cross of Gold, so I was like, you know what, sounds good, taking a chance, gonna get it, and I am glad I did. I will 100% get another keg of this if I can.
Yeah, dude, it's such a good beer. Just, I mean, that is like an everyday drinking beer. And I think it going on our list of, our 2022 list of beers makes sense. It's also only 4.8% ABV. Yep. And just like Hazy, what is it called?
Hazy Wonder.
Yes, thank you, Hazy Wonder. I want to say Hazy Mind. Hazy Wonder, it is 25 IBUs. So it's another low, like all the beers that we've had tonight, low IBUs. Not super hoppy. Nothing's going to punch in your face. All these beers that we have talked about today, I believe you can share with any beer drinker in your life, especially someone who might only be like into the big brands of like, Miller, Coors, Budweiser, you can find a beer, the four we just talked about, and they would appreciate it and probably like it. Especially this one. Cross of Gold is just one of the best beers made in Chicago.
I would agree with that. It's super smooth, super delicious. It's got that lager-esque to it, but it's not overly bitter. It's not overly malty. I think everything is just so smooth about it that it just makes it so easy drinking. So
the best part is that you put it in a crowler for me, so I have to finish it tonight. Bummer.
Oh, darn. 4.8%.
Oh, that's so sad. I still have some of the Paulaner left to give to my wife after this episode to see if she likes it.
Thanks.
Apparently, she says she thinks something died in our garage. It kind of stinks. I think it's the mulch and the soil that's in there, but we're going to find out tonight right after I'm done recording, and then I'll come back and edit this episode. Man, 1 to 5. What does this one get? Summertime beers and beer in general.
I gotta look back to see what I rated it in the past, because I know I had it the other day and I just upped it, and I was like, you know what, this is a little better than
I've been doing that recently, and I've also scaled down some beers recently.
Ooh.
And not in a negative way. It just Clark has pointed out, middle of the road for me is now 4.
Okay.
Like, it's me being like, yeah, I really like this beer. It's a 4. But, like, middle of the road should be 3. You know what I mean? Sorry, I was on the mic really heavy, I think, for the last little bit of this.
My last rating for it was 3.75. And, I'm going to stick with that. 3.75.
3.75.
Yeah, I'm between that and 4.
Yeah.
But it's super easy drinking. But I feel like there's a lot of other beers that are like this that I can enjoy. Like even Fifth City and like other brands. So there's a lot of other options. So I can't go higher because I have other options.
I mean, you can go higher.
No, I can.
I know. I gave it a 3.75 as well. And when I checked this in, last time I checked it in was Rev Beer on Tap, the Malting Hour Studio, which we're not in tonight, if you guys can't tell. We're getting real comfortable just doing these from our own basement and swapping stuff. By the way, Brandon, both of your jerkies are delicious, and I have not tried the ice cream that you made for me.
Oh.
Not yet. I'm going to save that, I think, maybe for tomorrow. Brandon has been making a lot of really good ice cream. Wait, before I get into that, though. Cross of Gold. I gave it 3.75 on Untapped. If I'm going to rate this differently for the summertime episode, it is also going to go up there at a 4.547.
Okay.
Mainly because you could drink, I mean, out of the other beers that we had, I mean, they're very specific. School of Brett, it's got Brettanomyces, it's barrel aged. It's definitely, I think a lot of people would enjoy it, but some people might be turned off by it, so it's not for everybody.
An acquired taste.
After that, I want to keep saying Hazy Mind. Hazy Wonder, that gets a little bit closer to being like, hey, try this. This is good. You like it. The Paulaner, Raddler, same deal. Not everybody wants something super sweet while they're drinking. Some people are turned off by seltzers because they're so sweet, except there's like no sugar in seltzers, everybody, which is why it's only 100 calories and like no carbs. Stop saying they're sweet, because they're not. I would say that Cross of Gold is like the winner for, I want to drink a beer during the summer that's easy drinking, and I just want it to kind of taste like beer. This is the winner for me for tonight.
Yeah, I would agree with you. If we're going, summer beer. Sorry, summer beer.
You got real thick there.
If we're going summer beer, then yeah, I would totally agree that Cross of Gold is by far my favorite of the night.
Yeah.
I would second it with. I'm torn between the Lake Effect and the Paulaner.
Interesting.
I mean, I'm not putting anything in order, but Cross of Gold would be my easy drinking summer beer because it's easily accessible, it's easily enjoyable. So I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go dissecting.
I am going to do that.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go.
You don't have to. Okay. After my hard seltzer rant, I am going to dissect it. So I basically gave you my rundown of what I thought for summer beers. Now, for me personally, what am I going to drink? I can put it in order right now, hands down. Ready? Here we go. Boom. If I'm going to do it, it's going to be School of Brett, number 1. That is my winner of the evening. Blew my mind. Loved it. Number 2, going to be Cross of Gold. Also delicious beer I can drink all the time. Number 3, the Paulaner Raddler. I think that one is just, even though I said in my review, it's not something I'm going to reach for all the time, but I think it's really good. And coming in at the end is the Hazy Wonder from Lagunitas. And that's not because I think it's bad. It's just, if I had a choice, would I choose the Paulaner, though, over Hazy Wonder? I don't know. Those two are tied. At the end. It's definitely School of Brett and
how much
Cross of Gold.
do you want?
Yeah, that's true. I guess that's what it would come down to. So, but yeah, overall,
I can agree with you.
For me, School of Brett was as far as me as a beer drinker, not for the summer nights, that one wins overall. That is fantastic. It's such a good beer, and I look forward to. I've tried the School of Brett just about every year. It always impresses me, and I always look forward to having it. And I look forward to texting Clint after this episode to say, "Hey, good job, keep it up."
Yeah, edit me out because I would put School of Brett first.
I'm not editing you out of that.
No, I mean,
it's an honest thing. When you think about it, as far as you as a beer drinker, or how we're basing it on the episode, it's going to be different.
Yeah,
it's going to be different.
I was thinking about how we're basing it on people drinking summer beers, but
well, that's exactly what you said, and I said I'm going to do it for beer.
So you're doing it the other way. The other way, like, I would, ABV wise, like whatever, like between Cross of Gold and like School of Brett, it's not that big of a difference. But
no,
there's much more flavor in School of Brett, so I would probably go that route. But
you're not going to sit. You're also not going to sit there and like slam a whole bunch of School of Bretts.
No,
you just can't.
I don't think anybody would.
No.
But no, that's a nice, like, if I had the option between the two. Like that, it's so different that you would go for that one. I think
absolutely. It's a fun. If you're into exploring different beers and trying something new, School of Brett is the winner.
And people should.
And and it's not exactly. People should. And it's not a competition. We just like to rate it for the evening. Who knows if we were to come back and do this exact same show with these exact same beers in 1 year? It's a good chance this whole lineup would be differently placed. So
but that's a good point because the School of Brett could be a completely different beer next year. So
absolutely. All right, man. Well, that's going to do it for our official Summer Beers of 2022 episode. As I know you guys look forward to it as much as the pumpkin beer and Christmas and Maltese. I mean, we did it. Summer Beers 2022. We just needed a topic, everybody, because we needed an episode, and this was fun as shit. I had a great time, as always, as I do with you, Brandon. I love you, man.
Love you too, bud.
And I love doing this show with you. And everybody, thank you for listening. Keep liking, keep subscribing. Tell your friends. Tell breweries. Tell home brewers. Tell anybody. Also, I didn't get to it, but Brandon made a really interesting, basically Samoa ice cream, Samoa cookie ice cream. We'll get into that next time when I try it. It's going to be awesome. Follow Brandon on TikTok. You can see all of his recipes. They're delicious. Bye.
Bye.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Ace of Help Chicago, on Twitter, The Ace of Help Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all three. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at The Malting Hour.